are zombies outside. We have to do this very quietly.
What? I'm that guy. Totally that guy.
And the answer to your question, Apex, is yes. We started on time. We started on time, which is pretty impressive. I am surprised by that. I will throw that out there. I didn't expect us to be on time, but we were on time. And yeah, you know what? I think that's just a mic drop. I think we're done, right? I think this was a good stream. We started on time. I mean,
we're on time just to say goodbye.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. So everyone have a great.
Can you imagine?
I know.
Oh,
if we start on time, we're immediately ending. Man. If we're late, we're gonna go for 2 hours. That's the new rule that we have. Like the worst rule.
We make up of being 5 minutes late by going an hour and a half over.
Exactly. Oh man. Yeah. We are this is just fun. So welcome guys to another Reality Skewed Gamers live stream with The Bunker Underground. That's right, where Delete and I have managed to avoid being on the upper levels because that is McVenom's haven, and one day she'll come back and chances are we're going to make a mess of things. So we went farther underground to make our own little hovel here. And yeah, of course, McVenom is missing in action. We're still looking for her. We are still looking for her. Again, she is wanted alive only. Just remember, she is wanted alive only. I can't stress that enough. I can't stress that enough. Alive only.
Yeah. I'd hate to be the person that tried to go ahead and take Venom down.
Yes.
She would take a lot of people with her if she was going down.
Yeah, she would. Yeah. Yeah. That's all I can say.
And she'd probably just talk you out of it.
She would talk you out of it only to find that gap where then she would just take advantage of you and take you out first because you hesitated. Yeah. That's what happens.
Yeah.
She will make you hesitate and then take you out. So it's not worth it.
You're not taking me down. You're going down, and you're gonna. Can't even continue this line.
Oh no, because this is where then I slowly start to get into that like my awful southern accent to become McVenom, and then she hears it and then later on yells at me via text.
Yeah, and then you got hell to pay.
Yes. I have a lot of hell to pay already. So speaking of that, the one that is not going to be in trouble because she is her favorite probably 3 days in the month, Mako.
Yep, always favorite.
Yeah.
You are one of the favorites in the rotation. So that's all I can say. You are one of the favorites in the rotation. But we are glad to have you here. And of course, Delete's on the other side, helping me maintain the bunker down here with the classic wave. The Delete wave is it's just become one of the things. It went from the bunker to the break room. I mean, kind of, yeah. We're just down here. I'm drinking my soda. I mean, we're just kind of like chilling. I mean, it's pretty chill down here, I'm telling you. The bunker underground has become like a little man cave. And yeah, I need to put like a no woman sign here. Men only, like a little rascal sign up there. I need to get one of those signs. Let's prop it up on the side. But we have a lot of fun stuff here. Anyone know what happens to expired value vouchers?
Depends which ones.
Yeah, it depends which ones. I can show you in my game. Let us go to the where is it? We're gonna go to our handy dandy whiteboard. There we go. We're gonna bring the whiteboard down. We're gonna get our game going here. See, we have all kinds of fancy technology. Wrong hand.
No, I did it again. Damn it. One day that's going to be cool.
So close. But when you have your value vouchers, what you'll have, I don't think it's actually, I opened it, but I don't think it's here right now, is it?
I think ours just left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think ours just left too. So there was no point in me bringing down the handy dandy whiteboard except to show you the handy dandy whiteboard projector screen. But you will have the old tickets, and if they're too old, they're useless. If they're just the previous levels one, there is another area below the first grouping that you can spend them. However, be very careful because you can be left with a number that you will not be able to spend. I currently have like 2 tickets left, and there is nothing you can buy for 2 tickets. There's also no opportunity for me to buy even 1 ticket in order to get the general frag. So it's just like the purple frag. I'm like, okay, well, I now have 2 tickets. So it is really, why is it doing this now?
Oh, so early on.
I know. Okay, there we go. It's back. It's just being funky now. Be funky now, and then leave us alone later. So yeah. So, but if your tickets are too old, why is it doing that? I'm going to go kill someone. Hold on. Someone's gonna die right now. Someone is about to die. That's all I can say. Okay. Yeah.
Gotta get that cable guy.
There we go. Okay, it better be fixed now. Just had to punch a guy a few times. I'm just saying, this, you know, I had to show them that I mean business to try and get this internet to work correctly. Luckily, it's not too bad. It had a little bit of a spurt, but I'm a little bit of a crazy person. That's all I can say. Just
Teensy weensy.
a little bit. So let me shout out everyone in chat, and then we'll kind of continue the conversation here. We have Apex here, who remembered it was Thursday this time. It is now on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So glad you guys can all make it here. We have Eric B here. We have Nagai Vapes, the winner of our spin from last stream. We're going to get to you in a little bit, Nagai Vapes, so hang in there. We also have Millsy here. Welcome to Millsy. Millsy was one that used to watch on Friday, had a switch, wasn't able to watch on Fridays anymore, now can watch on Thursdays, and we are on Thursday, so it's very convenient. So we're glad to have Millsy here. Aerith is here too. How are you doing, Aerith? Glad to have you here. So we are all ready, and yeah. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the stuff in the game. And also the fact that I managed to finally get, while not really using any speed ups, I am officially Plasma 5. I'll just throw that out there. I officially got to Plasma 5. Yay.
Yeah.
the
That's
lack of
nice.
speed ups was killing me. I just let the timer run. It was 3 days of awful, but I let the timer run and got to what I needed. So
Let the timer run until it hit that 16-digit number.
Yeah.
I didn't know such thing. Hush you. I still
I had
don't
a
have my
couple-
second builder. Just-
I had a couple of Visa gift cards you just had to go and burn through.
No, there is no such thing. Hush you. Awful. Just awful. Why? No, it's awful. Why would you say such a thing? Okay, so we are. And yeah, if you guys have questions, go ahead and put them in chat. Right now, I'll go ahead and kind of get the questions as we're going along, because honestly, it's been kind of a slowish week. So we'll talk about some of the events and everything going on. Eric B asks, what do you think about the new Stream TV? So if you guys are not familiar with what's happening with that, they have kind of a new content creator program. I am just streaming because I like to stream it. So I am never there. But they have this new channel over here. If you click on the little like YouTube link, and when you go there, it shows you the schedule for people that are streaming. And there's a bunch of people that, oh, look, I earned points because I was looking at this earlier. When this eventually loads, it's a little funky. But you can kind of see there's a different like stream schedule for a bunch of different people and when they're streaming, and you guys can go ahead and watch it. And they actually get like a good number of people that'll watch it because they'll just watch the streams during the time. You'll see the stuff here. Yeah, there are some funny ones on streaming. Personally, I am biased to me, but that's just because I'm biased. So I'll just throw that one out there. But you can kind of see this, and I think it's kind of cool. They weren't really promoting a lot with the content creators for a long time, right? We've talked about that. The content creators were there, but they really weren't getting kind of the promotion that I think was really necessary for them to actually get some backing from the content creators to actually be like feel appreciated and sorts. So I think this is actually a really good idea. What I will say though, that's a little annoying is how bright and like colorful and distracting it is from everything else on screen. Because like even like everything else is so like simple, and then you get like this technicolor color me thing going on that I don't know. I think just the graphic goes a little too far, but other than that, I think it's fine. Because I mean, who would want to make themselves like all colorful on the stream, changing colors? I mean, that just goes a little bit overboard. And I think that it's something that they need to make sure they kind of look at a little bit, because it can definitely be very distracting from everything else on the screen. Just throwing that out there. Right? Right, Delete?
I completely agree. I think it's just a little bit overbearing, you know, especially since they're not promoting our show, and
No,
we
they're
were
not.
like the best show.
I
Forever.
agree. It is the best.
So, yeah. I mean, I'm watching someone now, and I'm like, oh, you're playing the new version of the game, and your base setup kind of sucks, and he probably has no idea what he's doing.
I know. Yeah.
Doesn't have enough
Oh.
trees.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, I don't, dude, you don't even have enough decorations to stop people from going ahead and just tearing and burning your base down. So I don't understand. What do you got going on there?
I mean, Mako, you think that the colors are very distracting too, right? Like they take away from the attention of everything else that's going on in the game.
Yes, there's already enough going on in the game, and there's a ton of red dots because I don't like to use my stuff, and it's
Mhm.
annoying as already. So, yeah, like those annoying little speed ups at the bottom and the Alliance tab. Since I've got the nothing to build right now, and I can't get rid of that little bubble that says 1 because it's all Alliance speed ups, and it just drives me nuts.
Yeah, that's not a great time.
Yeah.
The like red dots that don't go away sometimes are just awful. They're just awful. I still don't know why the heroes one pops up. You know, like, all right, you know, they're maxed. I don't understand why I've got a red dot. You know, it just randomly, at complete random, they just pop up.
Oh. What a difficult and relatable problem you have there, where all your heroes are maxed and they have little dots. I mean, I think that's something we
without a
can
hero.
all very much relate to. That just, you know,
Without
everything
even a
is
hero
maxed and
precinct.
there's nothing to upgrade, and so there's a red dot. I don't understand. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Delete.
I know, coming from someone that just basically zoomed up to Plasma 5 in, 20 minutes.
I mean, not wrong. Not wrong. Would have been Plasma 5 plus higher level troops if it wasn't for that stupid 20% thing only lasting 5 minutes. But that's completely here nor there. We have another question. Millsy asks, I would like to ask how all of you are. So let's go ahead and get an update for how everyone has been since last week. We'll start with our recurring kind of partner, but he's still considered a guest for that reason, Mako. So, Mako, how was your past week?
It was actually pretty good. I think I ended up on like 5th overall, maybe 6th overall in SOTF. I burned through everything I've been hoarding for 3 months, and it still wasn't enough for the #1 spot.
Yeah.
A little disheartening there, but
Oh, I'll tell you disheartening in a second, Mako. We'll go to delete.
Yeah. No, I actually, for the first time in a long time, I actually played SOTF and participated in doing more than just the minimum. I think I finished in the top I think it was third.
Yeah.
Third overall. Yeah, and I was really surprised. But it was. I mean, I haven't had a chance to use plasma in God knows. So I completely maxed everything out on plasma 8 on everything except for the plasma research, which is just asinine how that's going. It's just so much. Well, I was like, I got plasma lab today and it completely destroyed it.
Nice.
I maxed out every pack, so it was just like, all right, well, there's nothing left I can do in plasma lab. Actually, yeah, it's a dig. It's a dig to kind of go ahead and just be completely maxed out. So that's where I'm at.
So, I ended up getting second in Survival of the Fittest and losing first place by about 40,000 points. The worst part is that the reason I did not get first is because I was getting ready to stream at 8 p.m. Eastern time when reset happens, and I forgot to pull all of my marches that were gathering, because if I had pulled all of those gatherers, I would have got like 400,000 points and gotten first. So I lost first place because I got distracted getting ready to stream.
That's a tough one, bud. Well, it's a tough one. As they say in the business, that's a tough one.
That kind of sucked. Like if you go from like 90, like 100 to 101st, right? Like there's a difference in the rewards, but it's not huge. When you go from first to second, you go from 300 frags to like 150 frags. It's that stung a little bit. I'm telling you right now, that stung a little bit. That I lost because I didn't get to pull my my gathering troops. So,
yeah, it's a big drop off from first to second and third.
Mm-hmm.
Unnecessarily so, because I mean it's a long event. It shouldn't really be for the top 3 places. It shouldn't be that big of a difference. Because it is so long. If it was daily, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's a culmination of a bunch of days. It should be more spread out.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
Mine too. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just yeah. So yeah, that was unfortunate. That was.
Did they have a developer's feedback last week? I didn't see it.
So you bring up a very interesting thing. They did not have a developer's feedback last week because normally they do it on Fridays, right? I would like to think it is because the developers really want our feedback that they posted the feedback yesterday.
Oh.
So instead of their typical Friday post, their post was actually yesterday. And I would like to think it is because they value our opinion. And if that is the case, thank you, developers. We hope to bring you guys honest feedback from players that like to play this game. And thank you, Eric B, for saying I'm number 1 to you. I should be number 1 to no one. Like literally, this is a stream where I ended up trying to kill fruit flies and then killing a zombie fly and sending a picture to delete. Like that's the quality.
Yeah. True story.
It is. I sent that picture to delete. It was a massive fly. I'm not kidding. It was a massive fly. Yeah. Aerith Finn is number 1. No. Nope. No, definitely not. But I appreciate it, but no. It's definitely not. Hello, Liquid Snake. How are you? Glad to have you here as well. But yeah, so we are, yes, delete's number 1. That is much more accurate.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do well as being number 1. Hey, first step from being number 1 is down. So, think of it that way.
So the reason I'm definitely not number 1, I am probably like the worst Plasma 5 in the game. Like my chief gear is awful. My badges are not like up there. My hero gear is not up there. I am truly a Plasma 5 joiner. That is my only goal, is to be able to be Plasma 5 and then boost my troops so I can be a joiner with quality troops. I have 0 stats. My stats are pretty bad. So at this point, I can say I may be Plasma 5, but I will probably be the worst Plasma 5 you will ever encounter. I'll just throw that out there.
So like SVS, you're like the juiciest Plasma 5 ever for like a max player.
So I am also, if they figure that out, I am also a perfect trap base. Because all I need is one troop, and I have how many freaking troops? I currently have like, let me see how many troops I have. Let's take a look at my troop count. I'm just saying. Like was saying, I spilled my coffee. Thanks. I blame Finn as a thing for a reason. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'm at 1.2 million troops.
Oh yeah.
So all I need is like one better Plasma 5 troop just sitting in my reinforcements, and I'm good. That's what I need.
Yeah. I mean, for one hit, anyway.
For one hit, yeah. But now I'm working on Wolf and I'm working on Zoe, so I get my barricade heroes going and everything. Like I'm working on it all. I have my focus. And exactly, Aerith, know your role. That is exactly what it is. We've had this discussion. We're going to get into developers' feedback, but it's true. That is actually probably like the most important thing to figure out in this game that I think a lot of people don't realize. Your playstyle determines your role, which includes your spending. If you are not a spender and you're trying to keep up with someone like Delete, you are going to spread yourself out so thin that you're going to be not focused on anything, and your account is not going to be useful for pretty much anything, right?
Yeah,
you're just going to be so far behind.
In no man's land.
Versus, and I'll let Mako chime in too, because Mako's been like free to play for a much longer time than I have. But from what I noticed is I'm free to play. I'm not going to be able to keep up in Chief Gear. I'm not going to be able to keep up in badges. I'm not going to be able to keep up in Hero Gear. They all require like resources that you have to pay for. Similarly, research at this point requires plasma. So it's like all these things. I'm like, if I am going to do anything, I'm going to collect plasma. I'm going to boost my troops. I'm going to try to get my troops useful because my all the stat stuff like research and all the gear, I'm not going to be able to keep up with. So those I'll casually work on. I'm going to focus on troops. I'm going to try and be the best joiner I can be, which is where a free-to-play should be, unless you're in like a alliance where maybe you're like the high, like of all the free-to-play, you're the highest one. So maybe you want to focus on your stats then. But otherwise, you're just focusing on being a joiner. And so you kind of build that way. Is that your same thought, Mako?
Definitely. So, I mean, since we've started doing the stream, I think the first time I came on, I was complaining and pissing and moaning about it, but you couldn't get Chief Gear maps before unless you paid. Now you can get them in some events. I mean, almost all the events, there's at least one day where you get Chief Gear maps. I mean, I am 2 steps away from Plasma 5, and I was going to have blue Chief Gear, except we got a bunch of free gear in the last 7 months, and now I'm full purple, so
very nice.
one more step up there. But yeah, you got to pick your battles. I mean, thankfully we have the defense heroes now, which I've got all of them at skill level 5, so I could be the defense guy in there with my heroes, since nobody in our alliance after a year and 6 months knows how to save a formation. So
seriously, we are a day. I just looked it up. We are at day 520 something. You know, Finn, you're somewhere around like, I feel like you're at like, you won't know because your consecutive day streak stopped.
Yeah, my consecutive day streak got cut in the middle when I was moving and everything.
But I feel like it's around 3 something.
I would be around a year. I would be around a year around now.
And you've been able to reach. So like the new version of the game, you're at Plasma 5. The older version of the game, Mako isn't at Plasma 5. You know, like the opportunities to get Plasma in the newer states is that much more. You know, because it's just insane. That's just insane. Yeah,
you get a lot, and there were some little things. I don't know if I mentioned it on stream. I know I told Mako about it. I don't know if I told you guys on stream. There's also like little tricks that I have figured out that I don't know if are intended or not, but what the hell, I'll tell you guys anyways. Intel is an interesting way that potentially, if you have the time, you can actually get yourself more plasma than what shows up on your intel. Because what happens, and I noticed this, is let's say I click on this one, it gives me 2 plasma. This one only gives me 1. All of these intels are done on your own screen. So if you go to this location and you figure out what the coordinates are for this, you can actually have somebody else put an encampment on that spot, go to your intel and click on it. Rather than moving it, it actually creates a new one, and you have a chance of getting more plasma when it recreates it. So you could basically get a redo on all of the 1s to try and get to a 2 and potentially a 3, because I've seen a few 3s, but if you really had the time, you could do that. Now, you can't do it to your own because you see the intel there, right? So you need either somebody from your alliance or an alt account, but it is something potentially you can do in order to get more plasma. But it's a little plasma. It's slow, right? It's kind of tedious. So I tend not to do that, but it is something that I figured out. So, and be careful because it works the other way too. If you do it on like a 2, it can refresh and you can be forced down to a 1. So you'll just have to be kind of cautious about that. By the way, hi Maz. I see Maz in chat too. Maz is special. You know why? She's my Plasma 5 buddy. Maz and Zoltan.
Oh.
Look at us. Maz, me, and Zoltan. This is like the little Plasma 5 crew of awesomeness right here. Just saying.
Nice.
Just saying. Just have to bring attention to the awesomeness.
You guys are vastly different stat-wise, but...
Oh, yes. Vastly different. Once again, I am joining their rallies. It's just the way it works.
Yeah. Hey, man.
I know my place. I had to get Plasma 5 just to get admission.
Plasma 5 from a rally.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like kicking a Plasma 5 out of the rally, you've got to be a really strong alliance to be doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Eric B, I thought the exact same thing, that it only relocated the infecteds until one time it relocated it, and I noticed that the plasma number dropped because there was a resource tile that came up where the infected was when I didn't attack it. And then I noticed the plasma drop. So then I started to play around with my alt to try and put stuff in there, and I noticed you can get it to actually go up. So it's interesting, but again, it takes a while, right? You don't, most of the time it does kind of default back to the 1, but then it can go to the 2. But again, tedious, especially if your alt is not in the same alliance and across the map, which mine kind of was. So it's like a 15-minute march to get into the infected spot. So I'm like doing other things, and I come back and I check. It's like, okay, now it reset. So yeah.
Yeah. Nothing like making your intel run for 3 hours.
Apex is saying, wow, I'm not in the cool P5 club. Apex, you know where the cool area is. Come to the cool area. I'm just saying. You can join us in the cool area. You're in the alliance too, so you have access. You have the admission rights. So come to the cool area. Just saying. So
I feel like Apex's spot would just have camps in him all the time because he's out just birding. He's just out raiding.
He ports around and burns a lot. He does. But Apex, I'm telling you, you should come to our area and come hang out with the cool kids. Just saying. They'll yell at me if I move.
What do you guys?
It's true, because Apex is near trap.
You guys have had Plasma 5 for a couple months?
Plasma 5? We've had for, I think, longer than that. We just got all the new Plasma stuff, so we have Plasma 8s and stuff now.
Oh, wow. Holy cow.
Yeah, we had a few people that like wailed out as soon as Plasma 8 hit. So we got like 2 Plasma 8s. We had a bunch of 7s. We probably have more Plasma 8s now. We had 2 Plasma 8s. I think we had 4 Plasma 8s at SVS. No, not SVS. Capcom.
Yeah, but then you don't even have the newest heroes, though, right?
Our latest heroes are like Martha and them. Martha, Jess.
They're a gen behind us.
Yeah. But
I think it's Martha, Jess. Those are our newest heroes.
Plasma-wise?
Do you remember when there was a delay between us and the new states delete? I mean, it used to be nice, right?
Yeah. Seriously. Wow. That's so bananas.
I feel like that old grandpa, like, yeah, back in my day playing, we had Plasma 5.
Seriously. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So we also had a Liquid Snake saying that I must say the lucky draw event was good to me. I got over with $5, got over 500 plasma. That is nice. If you can get like the X2 before you get like the plasmas and everything, you can make out really, really well in the lucky draw.
Yeah, if you hit it right, it pays off big.
It does. And then Eric B is saying they added the skin vouchers to the special events. I am still very much disappointed in the skin store. I'm going to go to the skin store right now and show you. I mean, they added some more now. They added the Midsummer Day and the one last birthday now. It was just Becca and Becca's the mother's love or whatever it was beforehand.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wish they would just put all of them up there and just let you pick it. Like, this restriction on it is kind of a pain, to be frank. Like, just 2 at a time and everything. It's just, they should have just put all of them up there and just be like, yeah, here are the skins that we'll let you purchase. Let people spend their money. Like, it's just restricting them from getting it. So Aerith's saying I only get the frames. It's probably because you have all the skins, don't you, Aerith? Just saying, when you're dominating the entire State 500, it's probably because you have all the skins. Just a guess. Just a guess. Ma saying it's a terrible store. It is. Yep, Aerith saying I do. Yep. I wins. Okay. Yeah, see? So you guys got a little bit of a tidbit on the whole like Intel thing. Again, it is a nuisance of a thing to do because you have to figure out the coordinates. One of the things they do with the Intels, by the way, you'll notice. So when you click on like one of the regular infecteds, it gives you the coordinates. When you go to your Intel one, it does not.
It doesn't.
It does not. So you have to kind of find like one next to it. So this is 579-719. This one is 581-719. So that means this is 580-719. Like, you kind of have to deduce it by kind of just going around it to try and figure it out. So it's a little more annoying. But again, it's not too difficult. It's just an additional step you have to take in order to find the coordinates, and somebody puts it there, and yeah. So so you guys can watch with that. Let's see. Exactly, Millsy. Millsy's saying there's no problems with being a P5 filler. I agree. But again, it depends on what your role is, right? So I am not expected to be like a rally setter. So I am literally just joining and trying to bring the best troops. So even though I'm P5, everyone knows I am filler. So that's at least good from that perspective. Liquid Snake is saying, I'm curious as Delete for any strategies for Reservoir Raid.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what works for us right now is we've got different teams. I typically port to the middle, and I use my strongest march to go ahead and take their 12 plus 1200 water facility that's up north. It's like right in front of your base, so I'll take that. My number 2 will take the one that's closest to us.
Did Colo become number 2 again? Did you pass him?
Yeah, Colo's number 2.
Okay.
He is barely.
I know,
it's like
he beat you to 8, right?
Yeah, he beat me to 8. But then I think he beat me to HQ 8, but I don't think he did all of his like barracks, all of his troop training areas at 8.
I gotcha.
So I'm building wise, I'm completely maxed at 8, which is nice. And now I'm just doing the research, which is annoying. So typically those are the 2 things that we kind of work for. And then I start picking apart. I start to see where their strongest player is going. And I send to, let's see, I look at where their strongest player is going. And then with my following, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th marches, I send to the edges of the map, pretty far away. So this way, it's usually like a little less coverage. Mm-hmm. And then as things start popping up, by the strongest players. As things start popping up, I start to kind of pull back on the edges. I'll hold it for a while and just let my march kind of stay there for a while, and then kind of bring it back. So like when the center pops up, I'll go ahead and put my strongest march in there. And sometimes we'll play little cat and mouse games where my logo is the one that's at the top. So they see it. And sometimes, I don't put it in there. So people really have to either waste the recon, or normally we have a jammer on anyway. So they can't really trust, because if someone's been losing to me the entire time, they tend to get a little bit hesitant if my logo's up there, which I'm okay with.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes if my logo's not up there, they'll just go ahead and continue to diminish their troops. And we have one team that literally just goes out and burns people. Wait until you take a couple buildings, and then as soon as your troops are really low, you just start lighting them up, which is pretty solid. And the culmination of all that works. It doesn't really have to be like, oh yeah, you have to own munitions factory, or own the solar panel building, or anything along those lines. It really is more cat and mouse, I would say. To make sure that your strongest player matches up against their strongest player, and you continually battle to make sure that you have those facilities and you have them just completely, held down, watching where their marches go.
And don't sleep on that gathering either.
Yeah, gathering is an extremely important part. Like we've had matches where when I was in Wall, where we were losing. We didn't have, we had like one building, but yet everyone in our group was gathering, and we were actually over what they were getting from the buildings, so yeah, don't sleep, because those tanks, they show up and they can really, change the tide, especially if you're like pretty close to wiped out and all your troops are kind of hurt, like send them out to gather and, help out when you can, because I think there's two levels when they pop up, where I think it's, like the tanks, because they do disappear. They're not there forever.
Yeah.
Because you can basically just soak them up. But definitely pay attention.
And you don't need a full march for those. I mean, if you've been decimated by, like, if Delete's coming and wrecking me and I'm down to 10,000 troops, send 200. It still gathers the exact same rate, and there's no max. Still gather until it's done.
Yeah. And it's usually it's like in close matches, that's what decides it, without question. Because at that point you could lose center and just keep going back and forth in center, and the team that's gathering better is really going to be the one that kind of takes, without question. That's the best way to do it. And I'm always like, all right, everyone, send someone out to gather, because at a certain point it's kind of like, the buildings kind of lose their usefulness, in certain points, because it's, you either can hold it or you can't. They're usually in res rate. It's never like a situation where both teams are so dead even in matching that it really makes that much of a difference. So you gotta basically kind of either hold outskirts and give them the big pieces, and then work from there, because everyone only has one strongest march, so make sure you're utilizing your strongest march from your strongest player in the correct way. Own something that you have to make them go after, or, kind of, play it smart in that regard.
All right. And then kind of a follow-up question. I'll let you answer, because I know we've talked about this before. Do gathering boosts work in Reservoir Raid?
I feel like they don't. I feel like they don't.
Yeah, it's not considered a resource. It's like an event thing, so it doesn't work in our Reservoir Raid. I remember we had this conversation with Nikki, and Nikki said she tested it and it didn't work.
Yeah, I feel like it's just the buffs. I had someone tell me that Massive March, your ability Massive March doesn't actually work in Res Raid.
Which isn't surprising, because you also can't use your healing one in the hospital, right? That thing also doesn't work. So
it does not work. So, it's just the buffs. The buffs that are like available in the VIP store and the market stall are the only ones that kind of will carry over, and recon jammer.
So there's also a discussion in chat right now, and I'm going to show my game, because this brings up an interesting topic just in general, and it's about troops. And there was Eric was saying the bad thing about being P5 filler is if you have T11 and the launcher doesn't. So I know that sometimes skews it too because the lower troops always die first, right? So you tend to want to make sure like this, like it's covering whoever is launching too. Research lab is better than Plasma Institute, especially if you're a joiner. I agree. You don't need plasma on anything else really. You have other things to worry about. Maz, congratulations. He said my first group of T11s are almost done. So congratulations to Maz. But here is kind of where I am too. So there is the possibility where right now I can use my plasma in order to boost all of my troops, right? Or I can use some of my plasma to go towards tier 11 in some of the troops. But the issue I saw, my hunters are currently under construction, so I can't check them out right now. But if I look at the riders, right, what I noticed, and we've looked at the details of these before, but I want to go into it again. T10 riders have their ability that causes increased damage against hunters, right? But the T11s actually do increased damage against infantry. So for riders, I think T11 actually works out really well because you're actually going more against the actual infantry, which is what you're trying to do. You're trying to kill infantry. When you look at the infantry, the T10s have increased defense against riders, but the T11s have increased defense against bows, right? You know what? I'm going to speed up my hunters because I want to take a look at the troops here. So they have increased defense against bows. Here is where I was kind of figuring something out here with hunters. Yeah. Okay, so with T10 is not a bow. T11 is not a bow either. So upgrading the infantry to tier 11 actually gives it a special ability that actually makes it more useless than the tier 10. So it almost seems like T10 infantry is actually better than tier 11. Right? Because the ability that you're getting on the tier 11 infantry is like wasted. Because anyone using T10 or T11 is not using a bow. They're both the shot, like the rifles, right?
Yeah, the sniper rifle.
Right. And then T10 actually does increased damage to riders. T11 does increased damage to riders as well. It's the bows that actually do more damage. So the only way to do more damage as a hunter is with tier 9. Tier 9 is the one, but tier 9, the stats are too different that it actually makes it seem, because I remember everyone saying go tier 11 infantry like first, like that's one of the best ones. But I'm looking at it, I'm like, tier 11 is probably the most useless one. Like I would much rather go with the riders first, because the riders actually switch abilities to actually target the infantry. And then the hunters will just do more damage. They're not changing who they're targeting. But tier 9 is too low. T11 infantry to me seems like the worst. Am I like missing something here? Or is that like I don't know if you guys have tested it, but it honestly seems like tier 11 infantry is worse than, I would rather have tier 10.
I feel like it's a translation gap more than anything.
You think like, what do you mean translation? Like,
because I feel like it shouldn't say bow. It should say like hunter or something like that. You know, it should say like, you know, it should say hunter. It shouldn't say bow, or like it should say rifle maybe, you know, or something along those lines.
Well, they don't have those. So all of the infantry are either the one that they have for tier 10. They're either increased defense against riders, or they are increased defense against bows. That's it. Like all of them are either one of those two, all the way down. So they don't have anything against the riflemen.
Sure.
And I see what you're saying, Eric. Eric B is saying infantry first is ideal since they're damage takers and dealers. My counter to that would be you're getting an ability where they get increased defense against bows, which are probably like non-existent against most high-level rallies, versus you increase your defense a lot more if you have an increased defense against riders. Like you start to nullify all of the rider damages, and the riders at tier 11 actually target infantry. Like their special ability actually targets. So it seems like the defense of the infantry may actually be better at T10 than tier 11, despite the stats being a little bit low because of the special.
Interesting. I wish there was a place to test that was effective.
Well, we've always been talking about that because the whole difference between T9s and T10s. That's the reason why they have shields and shotguns. That's why they have ATVs and bikers. That's why they've got sniper rifles and bows, because they have different stats, but yet there's no incentive to use two troop types because the stat difference is just so high.
Yeah, it's a dramatic change, and it's a big drop off from one flight to the next.
Yeah.
Or even if they were getting the buff on it, it's not enough to come back or to kind of like minimize the step down from the stats.
Yeah, and we can look at it. So attack, this is for tier 11. Tier 11 infantry, their health is 20, attack is 14, 19, 14. And if we look at tier 10, their health is 19 and it's 13, 18, 13. So all of the stats are down by 1. But then, of course, once you add all the multipliers that you get from like your research and your boosts and everything, it does increase. But I don't know how that weighs against the ability of just like how much increased defense do you actually get against riders?
Right.
And is it
one?
worthwhile?
Is it like, yeah.
And honestly, this all comes as a result of the fact. So tier 11 infantry would be good if it wasn't for the fact that tier 10 and tier 11 hunters are both riflemen. Most of the other ones alternate. Like one is odd, one is even. But 10 and 11 are both riflemen. So both of them are focused on riders. Now, if the tier 11 was a bowman, that changes everything, right? Then, of course, tier 11 is better because you're going to be facing the higher damage riders that are bowmen that are actually going to do more damage to infantry, so you want that. So it's just, I don't know. I was thinking about that, and the reason, primarily why I was thinking that was like once I get my troops all to plasma 3, right? My goal is plasma 3 to get that special ability unlocked, like their like electro barriers and all that. Do I start putting plasma into the Plasma Institute to get to tier 11, or do I just go the route of boosting my current troops and increasing the barracks to like plasma 4, plasma 5, all the other ones, and start slowly making my way to like plasma 8 and just getting the boost that way? And like I started to lean more towards just going to plasma 8 because it's going to take a long time to get to plasma 11 or to the plasma to tier 11 troops. But tier 11 troops may not even be worth it because they keep on changing the numbers. So I'd rather like get like that permanent increase in the stats with the plasma, and then I can decide what I want to do with the Plasma Institute later. But that was my thinking on it. I don't know, Mako, how are you dealing with your troops? Like, I know you're almost plasma 5. Are you focusing at tier 11 at all, or now that plasma 8 is out, are you focusing on the plasma levels of your troops? Which one are you?
I am going to plasma 5 everything because then you get that upgraded skill for them. Because I've got everything at plasma 4, and then the HQ is like 2 steps away from plasma 5. But the only thing good in the Research Institute is the first step on all 3, which I've got those maxed out at 5, all 3 of them. And that's just increase your march capacity. Everything else for me as a free-to-play doesn't really matter because you're not going to use my infantry stats. You're not going to use my hunter lethality. You're not going to use my infantry health that I'm going to get from plasma. And I don't need a bigger rally cap because I could solo a level 5 fiend if it would let me, I bet. So
yeah.
There's no point for me to waste the plasma on that. So I'm probably just going to go from plasma 5 into plasma 6.
Right.
Just because the Institute doesn't help me at that much. And I mean, if we get this new plasma research, Sin tells us it's just godlike. So we'll have to see what that looks like when we get that building. But to be getting to Plasma 5 and then to Plasma 8 to get that second skill for Plasma Troops is probably more important than my rally capacity to get to T11. So,
right. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting, and I agree with you. I think it would be really fun to try and figure out, like, if we could actually, like, test these things out, like I mentioned, like, if you could face yourself, like, your exact base, but play around with different, like, team compositions, right? You send out one march and just do, like a little, what's it called? A settlement? It's not a settlement. What do you call the encampment? So you make, like, a little encampment with, like, one route with one march, and you put like an equal march, but you just change around like troops from tier 10 to 11. Does it actually like make a difference, and see exactly how it works? I mean, I think that would be kind of neat. You would have to be able to like duplicate your account in order to do that because you want the exact stats. But I think that would be kind of, that's what I was always hoping to do in like a beta, was to be able to test it that way. But it's hard when you don't have the exact stats, because then obviously you have more variables as part of it.
right.
So yeah, there you go. Another streamer has tested this. So my question, Aerith, is did they test it against themselves or test it against someone else? Because my concern with that is I've seen some people that have done those tests, but not all the stats are like exactly the same. There's always like there's like some difference with it, and those little differences, like, because of research and all that, multiply. So and if there is one where they like tested against themselves in some way, then I would like to see it, because it's curious to me, like what exactly would be the way it is. So, yeah, Catzilla did. Okay, I will check out Catzilla. So Eric is saying Catzilla did a test with this. So I will take a look. That would be kind of cool if they actually like tested against themselves with like the same stats and all of that. So
yeah, that'd be extremely useful.
Yeah.
Well, until another update comes out and they switch everything again anyway.
Right. So
that's the closely guarded KFC's original recipe right there. It's the battle techniques for King's Group.
I mean, that is possible. It is possible that they are holding that in, because we know they are very close to the vest with a lot of their data, so to speak. So yeah, we will. So thank you for that, Aerith. I hadn't seen that one, so it is cool if they actually did it kind of the way that I was thinking about it. So awesome. So I think with that, I'm trying to set up something here to bring down our board again. Let me stop here. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, do you guys have any, I'm checking chat really quick before I jump into the developer feedback. Apex is saying, do those abilities actually work, or is it like the plasma skills? I mean, I hope they work. Like, honestly, to me, those skills are actually like part of the fun of theory crafting with these troops, because they are different. And some will target some will target infantry, some will target like the hunters or the riders, and you want to maybe try to have a balance in order to attack them and see what that does. But in terms of whether it actually works, I don't know. Oh, okay. So Eric B saying Catzilla has 2 maxed accounts in PTR that they test with.
Wow.
So that would be a way to test it. Yeah, if they're completely maxed, if they're using like the exact same skins or no skins or whatever it is, and all the stats are exactly the same, that is a good way to go about it. So
yeah.
And by the way, hi Buzzsaw, how are you doing?
That's the next denominator, is the skins, and you can't turn skins off. Once you have them, that's it. You know, you can't.
You can?
I mean, someone could probably no, you can't. Once they're in your backpack and they're activated, they just always are on. The only way that you can, like in a PTR, you could probably do it where if someone's like 3 skins away from you or 6% away from you, you can go ahead and activate a couple temp ones to catch up. You know, whether it's like 7-day or 30-day or whatever. And then after those time limits come off, they drop. And then you can kind of, you could be equal for a couple days is basically what I'm trying to say, in a very long way to say.
Yeah. So, and there is Durgan. What the hell? You know what? We're having fun. I'm gonna do it. Durgan, this is just for you. Okay? So I'm just saying, this is just for you. I say what? Zombie butt. 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 You want a zombie butt? Zombie butt. You want a zombie butt? Zombie butt. You want a zombie butt? Zombie butt. It's a zombie butt. Okay. There you go, Durgan. That is just for you. Just saying.
I am hoping that Durgan was still on for that, or else you just creeped out a bunch of people.
Probably, yes, what I do. See, that's what I told you. No one should make me number one of anything. Mm-mm.
Well, maybe that's why you're number one. Because of stuff like that.
No. I did, Maz. I said but. Aerith is dancing along. I mean, yeah, that's it. Hi, Zicklet, how are you?
and that just happened. Right
of course
there.
It did. Of course it did. I'm a crazy person. Did I mention that? Yeah, just saying.
I mean, they, in the nicest of ways, of course.
Yes.
But I agree with you.
Durgan, what is harder to find currently? The rarest character in the game or McVenom?
Oh.
McVenom, you can use general frags to find the hardest character in the game.
That's a good point.
I'm gonna die. Don't worry, Mako, it's fine. The views of Finn do not necessarily represent the views of Mako or Delete, so McVenom, don't hurt them.
No, I was just saying, you can't use your general frags to locate a hero.
You can't
That's right.
locate, that's true. Once you locate them, it's much easier to max them, but you can't locate them.
Oh, yeah. I know that well because I got first place in the hero frag
So did I.
Yeah, and it's
So
general
many gold
frags for survival of the fittest.
That's a good question. Yeah, if you're locating, it probably is the rarest character.
I think the rarest character in the game is Ray and Rolex.
Yeah.
Because you have
Which is $40 to locate them, roughly?
Yeah, but you have to beat a VIP 6 first, right?
Yeah.
7.
Which I think you should be able to do as a free-to-play.
Yeah, that's the only character I don't have.
Yeah.
He was good for like the first 2 months. The system was open,
crap.
our state was open, and then it just went completely to crap.
Damn it, Buzzsaw! I forgot. YouTube added the feature that you can clip now, like you can in Twitch. So I'm pretty sure Buzzsaw just clipped the what zombie butt. Damn it! I forgot YouTube can clip now.
Oh.
Well, yeah.
Well, what is this junk? Ray is SOTF hero in the new states?
Whoa. That's annoying.
That's awful. Why would they do that?
Do they have any other hero besides Lucky that's like a complete pay to acquire then? Is it like Lucky and that's it?
That's it. Because Lucky is the only one that you have to
Oh my god, that is awful.
Yeah,
Lucky and Ray that you have to pay for.
That is awful. I mean, I suppose it doesn't matter as long as you don't have to face them later on, but I mean, they're so far behind, but that's kind of... Yeah. Wait, Lucky was in Ray's place?
Wow.
Wow. So they have no, pay-only locate heroes.
Oh, I had to break out the 16 digits to get Lucky to get that second builder. still my only purchase in game for that second builder, Finn.
Oh.
I'm still not purchasing.
My second builder is extremely lonely. Extremely lonely.
I might as well get a third builder to make company.
Yeah, seriously. It's like, stop both. I think both my builders play solitaire. They don't even play with each other anymore. They've been together for so long.
Oh my god. Buzzsaw. Finn, you're old enough to know this. Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, and Tits McVenom aren't real. They're made up to shamelessly make kids behave.
McBee.
I
Hey,
know.
real life first.
Number one rule in law.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Wait. So, So Eric's saying you can't use general frags on the new Ray. So you can acquire Ray through SOTF, but you can't use general frags on him once you locate him?
That seems a little dumb.
I don't understand the system at all. The system seems even like this just seems way worse.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Unless they buffed his stats,
Yeah,
he's basically
but you're changing the
he's
whole
useless,
concept. Like the whole
really
concept is you
fast.
locate and then you can use your general frags on any of them, right? Like that's the whole premise of this.
Well, maybe they're just trying to protect you because if you're burning general frags on Ray and Rolex, you're in a bad way. Because like 2 weeks after the way that they're dropping stuff, like 2 weeks after you do that, they're gonna have a brand new hero, which would blow Ray and Rolex all the way out of the water.
Yeah. I wonder if he'll end up in value vouchers then. I know he's saying you have to buy it, but value vouchers is kind of like buying it. So I wonder if it's like a value voucher thing that you can boost in.
Maybe they'll put him in the advanced hero search.
That's never going to change. We can hope as much as we want. He is never ending. That's going to remain the same. That's going to remain the same just forever.
I was thinking, and they should just turn those into just make everything the purple heroes then. Just make them the purple heroes. Get rid of Nicola and Maddie and just put the new purple heroes in there.
Mm-hmm.
This way they don't really have to do much. They're worried about giving away too much for free. Then do it that way.
Yeah. Just okay. So Eric B saying collab team says new battle systems are in states 1 through 649. So of course. Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit. So I'm gonna bring down the white screen again, and let's go ahead and do the let me bring up Discord because we'll talk about the developers' feedback and see what was in there about all this stuff. So we'll catch up here. So again, this was posted yesterday morning. So thank you to the developers if you're doing this for us. We appreciate it, and we hope we provide you good feedback. Post is, welcome back to the developers feedback time. In order to provide a better environment for survivors who have returned to their settlement, we're going to test the state transfer feature, giving those who have not logged into the game for a long time an opportunity to choose a new state. Here, we interview the developer team at the first moment with questions that most players cared about. So, first question, how long must a player not log into the game to get this opportunity? And the response is survivors that have not logged into the game for more than 60 days and whose HQ is at least level 20 get the opportunity to transfer to a new state.
Well, see you in 60 days, guys.
Yeah.
Law is going on break for 60 days.
Well, let's go on some more, Delete, because you may want to be careful. Next one, will players be able to choose any state they want? The answer, no, they won't. The reason we give players the opportunity to enter a new state is to allow returning players to have a similar development space and social environment in the new state as they had before they left the game, so that the returning players will not be too far apart from the players in the original state when they return, and at the same time will not affect the balance of the target state they move into. Therefore, we will select the states open to returning players in a reasonable manner.
Wow, so you could be 2 states away, maybe.
Possibly. If the other state is like that far behind or slow or something, then they may just transfer you to like 2 states or something. So I think that's actually, I enjoy that answer actually, because we talked about that, right? Like if you're moving someone, you want to make sure it doesn't disrupt the balance, but still puts them in a position where they're not like so far behind that they're just going to like give up anyways.
Yeah.
So I kind of like the balance. Mako, what do you think so far?
So from 359 to 125 is 234 divided by 60 days. I'll see you in 4 months.
Can you imagine? Oh my god.
Okay, well, the next one, on which states will the test be conducted? After a thorough evaluation of all states, we have selected number 300 to 310 as the first batch of test states. So,
What?
So I guess there's a lot of inactives in 300 to 310. Now, the curious part is, let's say that's true, how do you get them to come back? Like, you're testing these 10 states because they have people that are inactive for 60 days, but how do you reach out to them to actually, like, come back?
I mean, 60 days, basically the game's been deleted. You know, because this game, it's gigabytes. It's not like, you know, it's not like it's something small. I mean, it's a good percentage of the space you have on your phone. So,
and even if you just like decide, you know what, maybe I'll just like open the game in a week just to see how it is. You open your game for 2 seconds and it takes up 10% of your battery. So it's not like you want to do this just anytime. Like, you need to be near a charger if you're playing this game. I'm just throwing that out there. So, yeah. So I mean, it's a really small batch. I hope they've already contacted people that they know are going to be testing this. Because otherwise, this is really not going to prove useful.
I don't know how
after 60 days, you're after 60 days, you practically, you know, you've got rid of Discord, unless there's another game that you use Discord for.
I know.
You know, there's no way that you're just like, hey, wow, I'm still getting notifications for a game I haven't played in 60 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's never happened.
Well, I mean, again, this is kind of a neat thing that they're doing. So they're doing something with straight transfer, which is nice, and I think they're targeting a good people. But Moss is saying I would have blocked it from my memory after 60 days. You're not the only one. I think that makes sense for a lot of people. So I am curious how they decided this group. But the next question.
It is interesting because that was like, you know, not for nothing, but our last show, I brought that up and was just like, hey, what happens? You know, if you just merge states, the next thing you know, someone just downloads the game and they're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So maybe the developers are still watching our show.
I know.
And this
hope so.
Directly for us.
Now,
me too.
If they caught me singing What Zombie Butt, then they may not be listening anymore. So,
yeah.
Yeah, we give them a little of everything. It's what we do. Okay. Next thing is...
So, to play off of that one, Finn...
Wait, to play off of what? Delete's response or the What Zombie Butt?
No, the 60 days part.
Okay.
So somebody had actually posted the developer's feedback in Law's Discord, and we had a conversation. Apparently, somebody's alt has been gone for 120 days, and they just decided to test it, and they got the option to move to a new state on their alt.
And they were in state like 300 to 310?
That was in state 234.
Oh, so, wow.
I don't know what's going on with that. There's nothing else said in our Discord, but he logged in just to test it, and he was in 234, and he said he got the notice that he could move to a new state with everything he's collected already.
Huh. So that's interesting because that means that it's not just an account. Wait, so is this another like account that they have on their main account, or is it a different account altogether?
It's a different account altogether because he's got 2 accounts in 125 Law, and then he's got one in this 234 that he said was inactive for about 120 days. And he logged in just to check it, and it said he could go to a new state.
Okay, so I guess 300 to 310 is not accurate then. So, okay then. So that's good to know. Because that goes to the next question. How long will it take for it to launch in all states? And they said, in order to create a better experience for returning players, we have discussed many options and finally decided to make this bold attempt, but this does not mean that we will definitely be launched in all the states. If the test results do not meet the expectations of most players, we will shut down this feature. But I guess they expanded it so they can test out more people being able to do it. So that's interesting. Millsy saying I'm in 307 and I disagree with the 60 days thing. Go ahead and post why, Millsy. We're definitely open to hearing what you guys say. Like, that's what we love. We love having a conversation with you guys in chat. Agree, disagree, whatever it is. So yeah, if you want to post kind of your reasoning for why you disagree with the 60 days, we can definitely bring that up and have a discussion for it. I'll continue reading the developers' feedback in the meantime. The next one, many players have expressed their willingness to pay to transfer their accounts from one state to another. Have you ever considered providing the state transfer feature to non-returning players? I think Delete, you had mentioned this, that you would pay or maybe even take like a discount on your current base to move it to a different one.
You ring.
Mm-hmm. So the response, before launching this feature, we need to evaluate the impact on the game experience of players in both the original and target state, hoping to bring everyone the fairest experience. The future development direction will be clearer after this test.
That means no.
Well, it looks like, so they're putting everything in this guise of this like 60-day returning thing, right? But I think ultimately what they're trying to do, maybe what we suggested, which is trying to make sure they're moving individual accounts into a state that is balanced, right? We talked about it where you kind of have like the really high, you have the low, you kind of get a bunch of people in the middle, and you want to try and target them so they're in the middle area, so they're not like skewing anything on one side or the other. So it looks like in some ways they're maybe using this like inactive now returning player scenario as a way to test out how the balance remains in a state should they do it. And if this works and they're whatever algorithms they're using in order to determine kind of the appropriate states, if that works, they can then apply it to everybody's account. So they can say, Delete, we are going to put you in this state because if you want to transfer, we can transfer you to this state because you won't skew anything, but this will be where you can be competitive and you can continue to grow, which would work. Now, you may not be able to pick which state, which is a possibility, but if you like your account and you're hoping to play somewhere and you just want to continue with your account, then that could be a solution. So
yeah, but we're also basing this off of a company so far that cannot put together a res raid where the score isn't 1,000,000,000 to 1. There's no, it's probably out of the, I don't know how many res raids have I done? Over 100 res raids, and I can count on like one hand how many times the score has been like 100,000 to 100,000. You know, it's always been one team's got 500,000, the other one's got 25. You know, every single time. You know, it's always extremely lopsided. You know, so I wonder how they're going to, if they can't figure that matchmaking process with one alliance to one alliance and a time for that people want to play, I can't imagine how they're going to do it across an entire state.
So maybe this is just me. I'm willing to give them a little more of a pass on Reservoir Raid, I think, than this. Simply because of one aspect. With Reservoir Raid, unlike bunkers and stuff, you are literally trying to get a matchup with a single kind of hour time frame picked, right? They give you a selection of like 20 or whatever, and you have to pick the one that like fits your alliance. You only get one. So if you don't have anybody else that like matches up with you at that time frame and they just give you like the closest one, like that's just unfortunately what it is. I don't know necessarily that their matchmaking is broken. It may just be that their algorithm just doesn't find anybody else. They give you the closest one, but it's just a mismatch because the selection just isn't there, like versus how they do it with bunkers where they're like pick 5 and we'll assign you to the one where there's maybe like the most competition or whatever else it is. They could do that with Reservoir Raid. Now, the problem with that is that you can't schedule it, right? You'll know it maybe 2 days ahead of time. And that's the other problem with Reservoir Raid. There are alliances that will queue up and then come with the whole, like you get matched up based on what is queued, but your game is based on who shows up. And there can be a huge discrepancy between what you're queued up with versus the people that are actually there.
But Res Raid is like across, I mean, uh, we've faced we have faced basically alliances in like 100 states up, down to about 25 states down from us. Like I felt like we had someone that was like 287 or something like that. So like that's a huge array of states that are only picking, because I feel like you can only pick. Well, I guess you can do Saturday, Sunday too.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like you have Saturday, Sunday, you have like all these time frames. Like if they change it so that you could pick between, like if you had to pick like 3 or 4, right?
Right.
Then they could try to match you up with, because once you pick 4, you're picking like 40% of the options versus right now you're picking 10% of the options.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's Azertane Heist. They only had what, 4 time slots available? That was it.
Yeah.
And it was a 1-day event.
Yeah.
And I missed it.
So I
bummer.
And again, it may just be me, but I think I'm a little bit more forgiving on their matchmaking with Reservoir Raid. I get your point, and it doesn't look good, especially with how long it's been going on, and they haven't changed anything. I think to me that's kind of the bigger thing. They haven't modified it. But
yeah,
I can understand why their matchmaking in Reservoir Raid is not good, because there's so many other variables that throw that off. And the one I've seen the most of is like you get matched up with a different alliance, but they're queued up with like 20 people and only like 5 show up. So it's like, okay, well, I guess this is just going to be a 15 versus 5 or 20 versus 5. Like, and there's not much else you can do because they have to set these matchups up ahead of time. It would be really hard to kind of do it at the specific time. Like kind of okay, everybody show up at 1:30. Whoever is there, queue up, and then we will make your matchup. Like I think that would be too much of a hassle. So
yeah,
it's a Reservoir Raid with the matchups is definitely a difficult one. I think just because of how they have the time frames, and they would need to change that a little bit. So it would be interesting to see what they do with that. Mako, do you have any kind of thoughts on that with Reservoir Raid and just matchups and how they're planning to balance the state transfers?
I guess I would just kind of play devil's advocate, because you look at Azertane Heist had 4 time slots in a 1-day thing, and they still had problems with matchmaking. I mean, like I said,
there was no matchmaking.
Mine had a 28 HQ and then an 8-star plasma, and it was just a range all over. And that 28 was not doing nothing, because it's like throwing pebbles at a castle. Like,
I know
your troops are dying left and right.
I don't think the heist had any matchmaking, to be honest. I think literally they were just like they just went down the list like A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, and like all A's are here, B's are here. Like I don't think they did anything with matchmaking in that. Because you're right, it was so spread out. There is no way they could have put them in the exact same if they actually tried any kind of matchmaking. So I don't think that one, I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I don't think they had any matchmaking with that. It was literally just throwing everyone into that and just letting them do whatever. It was rough though. Eric B is saying it's that way for Showdown too. Showdown's a little bit better, I think, because it's asynchronous kind of, right? It's not that everyone has to be on at the same time. So all these things happen at a time, but you don't have to do anything. You load your troops and you just kind of leave them. So I mean, I feel
like we're at no matter which week it is, we're at 50 to 75%, win-loss record. Mostly winning, surprisingly, in Showdown. And then there's like matches where my base doesn't even actually get to take part. Either I'm on the lane that basically like there's everyone's weak or whatever, like it doesn't even get to me half the time. So it's kind of wonky.
But that's part of the strategy too, right? Where do you put it? Hoping for the matchups. Like it is. I do like that aspect of it, but you're right. It does make it kind of weird. Apex and Azertane Heist said there were literally 14 plasma 8s in mine. I got force fed my own feet. I mean, that is what happened. Yeah. But like I said, I don't think there was any matchmaking as part of it. It was just literally just throwing people into it and just trying the event. And I don't think it was as fun as they were hoping. Because interestingly, right, if you look at the distribution of all the people that were in Azertane Height, it was probably very similar to the distribution you have in Reservoir Raid, in alliances, where you can have like really high and really low, except there's no teamwork. So it's different when like a Plasma 8 can put a troop inside of a level 28 and use them as a trap base while they're over like farming stuff, right? Versus an Azertane Heist, a Plasma 8 sends a troop over to the 28 and it's just going to kill them. They can't reinforce them. So there are some like fundamental differences there that did require matchmaking that I don't think they utilize. So I think in concept it's okay. I think there's a lot of work that needs to go into that if they ever make it return. So I am curious if they bring it back. I did like if they take the feedback, right? We told them one of the best events they did was the Kamute town, and then they brought that back and I thought that was really cool actually. I did like that event. Just little things where it like reset you back to the beginning, but those are small. I still really enjoyed doing that event and kind of killing everything. So we'll do the last question here on the developer's feedback, which is if the state transfer feature is not yet available, what about state merging? Which of course has to be asked. And the response is we are working hard on it. See you in October. So again, they're pushing that October date. They better not miss it. You have until like October 31st. You're not providing any other date other than October. October 31st, there better be something. That's all I can say.
Take advantage of that extra day.
Yeah.
Make sure you get it right.
That's exactly what it is. And then they did put a picture of what the transfer thing looks like. It says transfer to a new state. It says all your power, including buildings, heroes, and troops, will be retained in the new state. You actually get some transfer awards. You get some intel rewards, some speed ups and stuff to kind of bring you back, which I think is pretty good. I mean, I like the concept that they're doing. And so we'll go back because we know Millsy was saying that he wasn't a fan of the 60-day thing. So he posted, he said, the reason he disagrees with the 60-day thing, says, reason being, we are asking for mergers in general. Why do we have to be offline that long to be that far behind to move? So I think it's two different things, right? Go ahead, Delete. I'll let you answer.
Yeah, I think one of them is if they merge states, you have to be, you can't just go ahead and tell someone that hasn't played in 60 days that they've completely lost all their money. There has to be something that they can kind of, if they turn the game back on randomly, they still have the money that they put in, so I think that's the main reason, because they just don't want to be handing out refunds, to people that are just like, hey, because that'll get out really quick. You want to find all those people that quit the game, like, hey, they're giving you a refund because they completely erased your base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is two different things. So just the fact that they're doing this doesn't mean they're not doing mergers, right? So we don't want to exclude that. Like they mentioned it here, that they're still planning on doing the mergers in October. But I think what we mentioned earlier is I think they're also using this as an opportunity to test things that are going to be used in the merger. Like trying to figure out how to find an equivalent state for a person that is moving to a new state, right? So if their algorithm shows that they're able to find this person a new state, and it is where they're not in the top part, they're not in the bottom part, they're somewhere in the middle, they start to play, they still feel like they can keep up, they can be competitive, whatever it is, that's, I think, what their target is. And they're using the state transfer as a way to test those things out ahead of October. Because I think, to be honest, we've been waiting so long for the merger that if the merger has little things like that are not hashed out by the time October comes, I think people are going to be upset. Like, people are going to be looking for a nearly complete state merging that they're just looking for just like feedback on, and the feedback is more positive than negative. Like, that's the expectation given how long state merging has taken. So I think they just need to, I think this is smart on their part personally. So I understand your point though, Millsy, and I think that they're still working on mergers. I think maybe that's where And you can comment if I'm missing what you're talking about, but it seems like as long as they are still doing mergers, you're okay with like the inactive transfer thing. But they just need to make sure they're working on a mergers thing too, and that's in October, so we still have a few months for that. So they basically have like what 3 months exactly from today, roughly. Today's July 29, so August, September, October 29, roughly. So they pretty much have like 3 whole months in order to get that done. So Apex, do I keep my kill count? I would assume so. I don't see why you shouldn't keep your kill count because it's still part of your account. So I would assume yes, but that is something that would need to be checked. And Eric B, so if we don't like the state merge, then could we go inactive for 60 days and move again? Possibly. Or you might be able to just like merge or transfer again. I don't know. The question was brought up about kind of a pay to transfer option, right? So potentially they have that too. So you may not have to go inactive for 60 days. There may be another way as well. So we'll have to see. There might be some other options for you as well, just depending how their testing goes. So, but I think overall this is pretty. I was pretty happy overall with the way that they came out with this and how they're moving into parts. But Delete, overall, your thoughts on this developer feedback?
Yeah, I mean, anything that gets us closer, and the fact that they're keeping the timeline the same is greatly appreciated, because it's been pushback after pushback. It's been like, yeah, we're working on this, and we're just talking to other game companies. And, and originally it was just like, we've actually found, our research has showed that merging states or letting people move actually kills the game. Like at least they've backed off that altogether. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. And like you said, I'm okay that they take their time because they really need to do this right. It can't just be like, oh, we're merging 125 and 359. Good luck.
Yeah.
It can't just be something, really just like, wait, we're not even close. Like, what are these towers where it's like people are going to have to relearn the game because there's so many different versions.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it, and it was a good way to do it. The Q&A version of it was pretty solid,
Yeah. No, I like this. I think this works out well. Eric B saying boo, no pay. I think it's fairly common that most of these will do maybe one free and then the rest pay kind of thing. That's been a model I've seen before where you get one free. That's it. Then afterwards you would have to pay for it. If you regret it, you picked a bad state, whatever it is, at that point, they gave you the opportunity, it didn't work out, you can move again at a cost. That's not unheard of for these kind of games where you kind of shift from the server to server. So
because I mean, once they do it,
exactly. Is Nagai Vapes here? Nagai Vapes, I saw you said something earlier too. Yeah. So if you're here, Nagai Vapes, we are getting ready for you here. You are our first Wheel of Survival spinner. And so if you guys are not familiar, I still need to get the bar and everything going here to let you guys know. But there's going to be a bar roughly here that's going to show you kind of the progress that you guys are at in order to get another. There's the Guy Vapes. Okay, so there's going to be a bar moving forward that's going to kind of show you guys the progress towards another spin. It's so again to kind of rehash what I was talking about last week. There's going to be a bar, and it's going to be through donations done to the stream elements. Now, if you guys are not familiar with kind of how that works, RSG does a charity stream every year. And so the money we kind of get from all of our streaming and the donations that you guys make to us all goes kind of back into that. So we have like a little portion, about 25%, that we're going to kind of put back into improving the stream. About 50% is going to go into the charity event that we're planning. And then the other 25 is going to go into the Wheel of Survival. Now, the Wheel of Survival is a way that you all can potentially get something back as contributing, of course, to helping RSG, but also by watching the stream. So whenever we get to that $100 mark, somebody else is going to spin. Now, thank you to Aerith, who donated last week. We're currently at $20 out of 100. Again, I'll get that on the bar here, but right now we're at 20 out of 100. And you'll see that kind of grow over time. And every time we hit 100, I'll reset. We'll get somebody from chat that's going to be able to spin. But last week, we're starting off with one free spin. And that person that won is Nagai Vapes. He won that after guessing the number closest to Mako. So, Nagai Vapes, you have a chance of getting this. Now, the way this will work, I'll show you guys the wheel. Any of the kind of the winnings, we will be kind of coordinating that via PayPal to kind of send you guys the whatever it is that you guys win. So whenever somebody wins, we'll kind of go through that process. But what you see here is our Wheel of Survival. Now, of course, like anything, the chance of winning is always low, but there are chances of winning. Now, what we have here are a few options. You have not a winner, but a full rollover, meaning that each time there is $25 on the line, the jackpot is always going to increase, and that's going to be separate from this. So there's $25 on the line. And the guy Vapes is going to spin. If he gets the full rollover, the $25 that's part of this spin for Nagai Vapes goes into the jackpot. The jackpot's going to be $50. There's another one up there that's not a winner. That's going to be half rollover, meaning that $12.50 goes into the jackpot. Now, the full rollover is the largest percentage. So you guys have the highest chance of just kind of keeping that jackpot growing. Then you have your small chances of winning. You can win $5. You can win $10. You could get a respin. You could get the jackpot. Or the big wah. Not a winner and no rollover, meaning that the jackpot stays the same. So, I will tell you, the wheel is going to be increased a little bit moving forward. The $5 and the $10 is going to be a little bit more of a chance. The respin, jackpot, and not a rollover is going to remain the same. But for this one, these are your chances. So, Nagai Vapes, the question to you. I will click on this, and every time I click, it does a spin. I can click on it up to 5 times. So you can pick any number between 1 through 5, including 5. How many times would you like to attempt spinning this wheel? You get to pick, Nagai Vapes. And I will click on it that many times. So 1 through 5, how many times would you like me to click on it? And I'll count it with you, so you'll see it on there. But how many times would you like it to spin? Between 1 through 5, including 5. So we'll wait for Nagai. 2. Okay. Delete, Mako. Are you guys ready? This is our first official spin of the Wheel of Survival. This is a momentous day. Nagai Vapes, this is
big stuff.
Day. Yeah. I'm just building up the suspense because, he's waiting for the spin, wondering if he's going to build the jackpot. I mean, it's just all these things, right? I mean, it's an important day here at the okay, fine, I'll spin. Okay, here we go. Here we go. And we're going to start the first spin. And let's start the second spin. 2 spins, and Nagai Vapes got the full rollover. Not a winner, but the full rollover, meaning that the jackpot is now going to move up to $50. So here we go. I'm modifying it right now. It is now a $50 jackpot for the next time we actually get it. So there you go. So there you go. So Nagai Vapes was our first ever spinner. Jackpot is now up to 50. He's keeping that going for you guys. So whenever we get to the next milestone, and again, I'll start putting the I'll put the bar kind of up here moving forward, but we will get that going and you guys will be able to see how close you are. And again, part of this is because the money that you guys provide us is not only going to help the stream a little bit, but the kind of the most part of it is actually going to go towards the charity events that we are planning. If you guys are not familiar, over the last 4 years, we've raised about $50,000 for charity with about 40,000 of it going to the American Cancer Society the last 3 years. So that is what we do here at RSG. It's not just about streaming and entertaining you guys, but we want to build a gaming community that actually makes a difference in the larger community as well. And so we're happy to have all of you guys a part of it, whether you guys are just watching, spreading the word, donating, whatever it is. We appreciate all of you guys. So I think with that, this probably brings this episode of The Bunker Underground to a close. Is there anything else, Mako, Delete, that you both would like to discuss before we wrap up? I think we covered a lot of this. There is currently that Victory Road. Oh, I did want to show this. Okay, I will mention this. So there's this Cheeriest Cheerleaders thing, right? Which just continues this where they're just like showing the female characters in these kind of outfits, just thing, right? But I will say, regardless of that, right? We saw Jane in the summer thing with her bikini. We now get Candy in this outfit as a cheerleader and all that. The greatest thing ever. The greatest thing ever. Oh, I didn't bring down the screen. So let me bring down the screen here so you guys can actually see that. Because to me, the greatest thing ever is probably, and let me bring up the cheerleading thing again. So if you guys didn't see it, this is the cheerleading with, there we go. This is the cheerleading thing with Candy, right? And so, of course, they're trying to do the eye candy, no pun intended, to try and keep your eyes entertained while you are playing. However, to me, the greatest thing ever is to almost complete the water bottles and watch Rusty just stand there quivering. He gets all the way up there. If you don't complete the bar and you keep it almost there, he just stands there quivering. Now this is for McVenom. This is for McVenom. Because she loves herself some Rusty. This is also for Daedric. But if you are looking for eye candy, look no further than this. Everybody just get your Rusty bar just like as close to maxed as possible and just watch. It is a sight to behold how long he is able to hold up those towers and just stands there quivering. And just
Oh my gosh.
They can give me Jane, they can give me Candy, I will stare at Rusty.
That is something I never thought was going to be the case. I thought it was really funny that they decided to go ahead and put Rusty as like, oh yeah, this is the workout guy.
I know.
Oh, that's a lot of tires.
You can't look away. Like
he's pulling up a lot of weight right there.
It is.
Like his whole upper body is like vibrating.
It is. He's like keeping that balance with his legs too. Like he's constantly shifting his legs to try and keep that balance. Like he has the form. That right there, that is the form. He has definitely kept it long enough to get qualified for the Olympic, like whatever he needs to, right? Because you do have to keep your deadlift up for a little while. He has done that and exceeded it just to show off. I mean, I'm telling you, this is the true distracting thing in SOS right now. Jane in a bikini, Candy as a cheerleader. No. Rusty showing off his man muscles right there. I'm just saying.
Oh,
I just had to. I just had to bring that up to show you.
Yeah, that's solid. That's solid.
I saved it too. I'm like, I'm gonna leave this right at the max. Should we let him drop the weights? Should we let him drop the weights? I'll let the chat decide. I will let the chat decide. Should we let him drop the weights? Should we finish off the bar and let him get a rest? I mean, he's been
holding that so long. You're gonna let him finish. He's gonna walk off the screen. You can't do it.
I feel like I'm watching the end of Braveheart with Mel Gibson when he's that's him pulling out his large intestine. No mercy.
Okay, let's give him a break. Okay, I'll give him a drink here. Another drink.
Yeah, he needs a lot of drink.
He needs a rest, and the guy vapes is like, make him suffer.
Seriously.
Okay, let's do both. Let's give him a little rest, and then we'll make him suffer again. How about that? There we go. He's he's in like the worst position right now. Like this is where you start to get squished, right?
Yeah. That's when you go, thank you knee replacements right there.
Yes. Okay, so let's start building him up a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna slowly start building him up. He's gonna take that next. Oh, look at that! He's starting to move up. He is starting to move up a little bit. Look at that.
It's about to get that water bottle out of an uncomfortable spot.
Yes, that water bottle is definitely in an uncomfortable spot. He's filling up the water bottle first before we re-deliver it to him. Yeah. That is.
You had him staying there so long you can go to the bathroom.
Yeah, good point.
So we are giving him a break. You know what? Just to be fair, right? I think we should be nice to Rusty, right? We should be nice to Rusty. Rusty has been good to us. So, let's just go ahead.
Nobody farms metal. Nobody farms metal like Rusty. Nobody.
True.
It's the best in the business.
Yeah.
Wacko tried.
Okay, so let's go ahead and just give him that little sensor block there.
There. Oh yeah.
We have to be nice to him. We're gonna give him a little sensor block there. Let him do his business. Get the break that he needs. Right. So we're just gonna let it be for a little while. Right. Let him get it out. Just saying. Yeah. Inopportune time for me to drink water, but I don't give a crap. Okay.
By the way, I've never seen you use that water bottle more than anything. I'm glad you're drinking water. Yeah.
Oh my god, I use this like all the time. This is like my Bubba water keg thing. It holds a whole crap ton of water. So I usually like fill this up at the start of like the day, and then while I'm streaming or just doing other things, I fill it. So this is like how much I try to drink in a day. But then I will drink sodas and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bottle placement can be fine. Everything is covered. It's fine. See, look, there's a sensor thing. It's fine. Nobody has to worry. We're good. See? See, we thought about this. We are protecting Rusty.
I feel like the sensor actually makes it look worse.
Well, yeah,
it forces you to use your imagination.
Of course it is. Of course it does. Yeah, because I mean, it always does, right? So here's an example, right? Censoring always makes things worse. So here's an example. I was driving back from dinner, and I saw a flying squirrel. Right?
Really?
Let's repeat the sentence now. I was driving back from dinner, and I saw a squirrel. You see how it changes?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it changes the meaning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. See, and that's also one of those things where you never really want to call up a radio station and start giving them a hard time, because they could just be like, "Sir, stop talking to me like that," and before you even say anything, they could be bleeping you and be like, "Yeah," and it just looks like, wow, that got out of control quickly.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Okay.
That's why you never fight with someone with a microphone.
All right, let's let Rusty up a little bit. We'll start giving him some more water. Oh, he's rising up a little bit. The bottle is starting to fill up. To fill up. Oh, I might need to expand that box a little bit here. He's getting a little higher, so hold on. Let's do that. Okay, there we go. Just gotta make sure he's covered. We gotta make sure he's covered, right? We're friends of Rusty here. Okay, he has sufficiently passed the bottle range. He is done with what he needs to. So we'll clear that out. Everything is fine now. Everything is clean. We're back in a position on the stream that we're not going to get blocked or anything. So let's go ahead and let's give him the rest of his water. Okay. He's moving up. Oh, this is an awful position where you're like half squat with all this weight.
He's going pure core strength right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pure core strength. That's like planking right there.
Yeah.
He's got the planking shakes going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you wanted him to suffer, this is where you suffer, Nagai Babes. Like, he is suffering so much that you can actually see the tires vibrating this time. Like, it's not just him. He's not even able to keep the tires steady. The tires are shaking. Like, he is in pain right now. Yeah, no belt. Yep. He has like no belt or anything. Well, he has his like buckle belt. I don't know how effective that is, but yeah, he doesn't have like a weightlifting belt. So, and his back is at like an angle. Yeah, this is not good for him. Okay, let's help him up a little bit. Oh, he's getting into that vertical. Snap them elbows. The guy Vapes does not like himself some Rusty. Okay, here we go. He's almost vertical. Oh my god, look at that neck. Okay, there we go. He is back. He is back into the quivering position. Mm-hmm. He is. He's back into the quivering position. I'm just going to leave him there. We're going to leave him there for Nagai Vapes. We're going to leave him there in his quivering position. Just, leave him be.
For eternity.
Mm-hmm. No, not for eternity. I want the rest of the reward, so. until Saturday, where I'll probably cash everything. I'm like one thing away, and it's going to get me into the... Actually, I'm wondering what the next thing is.
What do you mean?
Once I finish level 21 is the last one, then it switches into that bar, right?
Yep.
That horizontal bar. I wonder what that is. Let's finish it.
Oh, I've already cashed it out. I would tell you.
Oh yeah, what is it?
Because
it's just 3 reward boxes.
But what is Rusty doing? That's the important thing.
Well, normally the person goes away, I think.
If Rusty's not there, I'm not cashing in.
Yeah,
I need to stare. I don't want to be staring at Candy. I want to be staring at Rusty.
No, that's not going to work. Oh, there we go. It just covers them.
No, actually, you can just see a squatting Rusty.
Yeah, permanent squat. He's got it about halfway.
You just get Rusty crotch below that the boxes. That's it. Oh my god! You know what? I need that. I don't need quivering Rusty. I'm gonna look. There we go. There he is. Look at that. Just Rusty crotch right in the bottle.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
This is where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
This is
why we're in the underground. We're not accepted by the upper peoples.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I put the box back. Everything is fine. It's just permanent now. This is also why we don't stream up top and make Venom Sanctuary, because we do things like this. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So, I think with that, we'll start calling it here. Thank you guys. I hope you guys had fun tonight again. And for those of you that are not familiar, again, we're switching over again to Thursdays at 9 p.m. as our permanent time now. So I hope you guys were able to kind of see everything and tell other people, if they're used to Fridays, that we are on Thursdays, because we'd love to have everyone here. And I think we're better with time as well, a little bit. We're ending before 11, which isn't always happening. So, yeah.
It's definitely been helping my beauty sleep.
Yes.
Without question. Which I am sorely in need of today, because I am exhausted.
But I'm pretty sure Karma would be happier if you were more excited about Candy than Rusty. No, she's much happier that I'm excited about Rusty instead of Candy, because the only woman I want to look at is Candy, or is Karma, not Candy. So I don't need to look at Candy.
Freudian slip.
I don't need to look at Candy. I was so close to making a good comment, and then I slipped.
You almost landed that plane, friend.
Clip that one too.
Yeah. Ow.
And of course I slipped.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
So close. So close. The point still remains. I don't need to look at any other woman besides Karma. Delete has seen Karma. I don't need to look at anyone else.
True. Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Yep, that's it. So, yeah, nope. I don't need anyone else. Now, Rusty, on the other hand, I mean, come on, that is some man meat. And now I'm just looking at his crotch while he's doing things with a bottle. I mean, it is what it is.
That's another clip.
And my
You're
second
just
clip
racking up the clips, Fred.
I mean, yeah. If you guys are familiar with our other RSG streams, here's what's going to happen, unfortunately, because I am too much of a fan of you guys having fun. Those clips are going to be associated with any donations you make. So there'll be particular amounts where if you donate, you're going to get clips of me saying stupid things. Which is how it works, because I say a lot of stupid things.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's just great.
This is just going to be awful. Yeah, YouTube
That's
adding
fantastic.
the clip feature is not going to help me at all. But okay, so I think with that, we'll go ahead and sign off. We'll get some last words if they have any. So we'll start with Mako, our frequently recurring guest, basically just one of the hosts here. Mako, any last words?
I think the only thing I would say, because we were just talking about in the Law Discord, is check your bundles when you buy them where you change stuff in for Plasma Lab or anything else, because there are some that are better deals than others.
There you go. Delete.
I'm just be happy to continue doing the show and having you guys watch, and that we're just consistently getting feedback. You know, we've come a long way. We've come a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that second builder.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Still not getting it.
Second constructions.
Mhm.
A lot. Oh yeah.
So speaking of bundles, if I was to have any last words, this red dot on the bundles keeps on showing up, and there's really nothing I can even click on it as a free to play. It's just forcing me to go into here to see all the things I can spend $5 on that I'm not going to spend $5 on. So I really wish the red dot wouldn't show up on this freaking every single day, along with everything else that I can click. So that's my final words. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and by the way, they should probably just, the supplies one, the secret box in the supplies portion of, where is it? Do you not have supplies?
See the limited supply?
It's down below daily bundle.
Yeah, keep going.
Special subscriptions?
They do not have it because it goes daily deal and then
Wow.
supplies.
Because supplies, that's the hidden box. We have a hidden box that gives you like.
But is
5
that for
minutes
the
to
Yith
speed
event?
up.
Like, is your Yith thing going?
No, it's a regular, constant
Yeah.
box bundle.
Do you maybe have to buy something in order to unlock it since I haven't spent anything? No, Mako's free to
No.
play.
Yeah.
It goes for one thing
It gives you that little box up there every 7 days.
every 7 days.
Huh.
And it was there before I bought the second builder.
Yeah,
Huh.
but it doesn't show up as a brand new thing. You have to go and you have to click into it. You got to find that one.
Yep.
Hi, Betula.
Yeah, but that's all I got.
Betula? Okay, let me know how to say it. Is
whoa.
it Betula?
Yeah, I think it's Petula.
Betula. Betula says in my other state I don't have supplies either. Good, so I'm not alone.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. I just have a limited supply. You guys get all the supplies. I get a limited supply.
Yeah, well, so, she is in our foreign law.
Ah, there we go.
That's Reservoir Queen right there.
Oh,
You're not in until she says you're
Very true.
and that's going to be a clip too.
in. Not, oh, it wasn't like you're not Urine unless she says Urine. That's a clip.
So we'll have a delete one too for sounds, and then we'll just start compiling all the awfulness that is being said here.
Why
Because
not? Why
delete
not?
just provided the greatest wisdom that anyone can have. You're not in until she says you're in.
Right.
That's
right.
That's
Words to
science
live
right
by.
there.
Straight math.
That's just science. All right. So with that, before we start getting more things that we're saying that are just dumb because that's what we do, thank you guys so much for joining. I hope you guys had a fun stream. We'll see you guys next week for another episode of The Bunker Underground. And with that, I am Finn for Delete and for Mako. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time. Take care, guys.
Rock on, Alan.